All right.
All right.
So we're gonna try this podcasting thing. We're gonna see how it goes. We got our awesome new podcast set up, and I think we just want to talk a little bit about ourselves and how we got started and how we got to where we're at. So
This Pursuits Pod, episode 1, the founder story. You dig? So,
yes.
I mean, let's just kind of give the people a little background on who we were, and like, obviously, we say made by creatives for creatives, but what does that even look like?
Yeah, I mean, both of us run our own production companies. I got into production through skateboarding and started off filming. Well, I wanted to make a sponsor tape for myself. So I got a camera, little tiny, it's called an Ape Tech. It's crazy. I still remember it was like this big, little tan thing, and pretty sure it recorded like 380p or something like that, like super low res. And
You say you still got it?
No. I don't know where the hell that thing is. But yeah, got that camera, and then I really wanted to make a skate sponsor tape for myself, and did that, of course. I wanted to be a pro skateboarder or, get sponsored. So I made that, and then once I made my tape, all my friends wanted them. So I went out and started filming them, and I'm like, damn, this is kind of fun. And then I found out there's a whole community around it. I was lurking the forums and buying, selling, trading cameras online, built up my camera collection, and just had a lot of fun filming. And then I started doing little skits with all the kids in my neighborhood, my brother, my sister, and then was lucky enough to get into a class that the teacher ran a production company out of it. And that's when I really realized that you could turn this into a career. And I remember having the conversation with my teacher, and he's like, yeah, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So started making connections and started realizing that this was actually like a viable option. And this is all before gimbals, like any of the stuff. Like it was all run and gun, renegade style. And I remember I did that class, and some of the kids took it seriously, some didn't. But I was taking it seriously, and I remember having that conversation. I had won an award for basically, it was called our signature project, and is what you did, like kind of like a culmination capstone project. And I had won an award for that in 2 different categories. And I remember at the award ceremony, it was my mom, my dad, me, and the teacher, and we were all talking afterwards, and they were all worried because they knew I didn't want to go to college. And I remember them asking my teacher, like, what, like, is this gonna be able to be something that he can do? And I just remember my teacher saying, Mr. Ruby, he was saying, Tyler's got it. He'll figure it out. As long as he stays on the right path and does all the right stuff, I have no doubt that he'll be successful. So moved out to Colorado, had a couple odds and ends jobs. Like I was a kindergarten teacher. I worked at a financial planning firm and was like a financial planning assistant. Then I got a gig with History Channel for an entire month, and they were filming a reality TV show. And that allowed me to then, once that production was kind of over, I was freelancing for a couple different companies. And once that was done, I said to the production company, I was like, look, I can either go back to my job or I can, basically quit and pursue this full time. Is there enough work? And they said, yep. And so after that gig with History Channel, I never went back to a full-time job. Did freelancing, worked for this production company for a few years freelance, and then ended up becoming a full-time employee. And then in 2021, I left and started Dittlo Digital. And then from there, evolved and kept progressing my skills. And then that's when you and I met, and we started the department.
Damn, so
Yep.
Long time coming.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Did you always know that you wanted to do, or did you even, from that first point of that school, did you think like, oh, I could do this by myself? Or were you always thinking the corporate, get a job type of thing?
No, I always knew.
Okay.
Yeah, that this is like what I was going to do. I didn't really have like, because it's crazy, we talk about this, like, is the department the way we envisioned it? No, but it's in the same vein. I knew that I wanted to come out to Colorado, and I knew that I wanted to do something in production. I didn't know how that looked. And I knew I wouldn't be able to just dive right in. I didn't have a network. I didn't know anyone out here other than my grandparents. So I didn't really know how it looked, but I knew that that was the goal I set. It was like, I want to move out to Colorado and I want to do something in production. And so far, every single thing that I've set has happened, but not necessarily in the way that I had originally intended, but it gets done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I always knew. Yeah.
Damn, that's tight. Yeah, my situation was a little different. I always been creative growing up, drawing, writing, books and shit like that. But when I started playing football, I was convinced that you couldn't make money in the arts.
Yeah.
So I went to CU Boulder to play football, and I started as a business major because I'm like, well, I vividly remember this. I went on Google and was like, what jobs pay the most?
Mm-hmm.
Or what degree would pay me the most money? And it was like business. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna fucking go to business. I didn't know shit about business or whatever. I ain't that good at math. I could do money math, but not like
Real
equations and shit. Yeah. So went to CU, kind of put creative to the side. And then as my football career is ending, I tore my ACL and like didn't really gel with the coaching staff that came in. And I was just trying to figure out what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have graduated early. Well, my senior year, I started rolling around with a camera.
Yeah.
And I'll just pull up to the parties and I'll just be the guy like, say cheese, you know what I mean? And then, I could have graduated early, but I ended up, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, fuck it, let me just waste more time. So I took a minor. It was technically a 2-year minor, but I did it in a year. I took a bunch of credits in the summer and maybe like 16 or 18 credits over each semester.
Mm-hmm.
And it was technology, arts, and media. And it's kind of like dip your toe in the water of a vast array of creative stuff. It's kind of like coding, graphic design, video editing, shit like that.
Not like strictly film.
Nah. It was just like different creative stuff. And I remember this too, is that there was a music, the class was called, it was a trick, bro. It was called like music production or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the first day there was maybe like 30 people in the class. And then he starts teaching us like this coding. It's like computer sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's coding, bro. Then next day it was only like 4 of us left. And I actually had a really cool, I made this for the end of the year. I made or the end of the semester, I made like a floating DNA model that moved to music.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
then he gave everyone an A because we all stayed in the class. But so after I graduated, I was trying to find jobs in creative.
Yeah.
And I probably interviewed at like 12 different jobs and no one hit me back. And then I was just like, damn, what do I do now? And I was just embarrassed to move back home. So I'm like, nah, fuck that shit. So I had another year of eligibility for football because I hurt my knee. And so I found a school that would take me. It was a D2 school, but I just was wasting more time again.
Yeah.
And I started my master's over there. And make a long story short, I dropped out after the football season. I moved to Arkansas to sell weed, basically. Ended up getting caught on the road in Oklahoma. I got a felony for that. And then I had to move back home. Took a 24-hour bus ride, Greyhound, from Arkansas back to Cali. And then I was living with my mom. I lived with my mom, lived with homies, couches. I moved to Vegas for a little bit because I was trying to get a job. Then the last place I was living with my aunt, and this over the span of like 4 years.
Yeah.
And I was just working in warehouses like crazy. Every single warehouse, paper warehouse, metal factory, fucking loading trucks, Staples, like every warehouse, bro. But then I was living at my aunt's house, and she just had like an old Nikon camera collecting dust. Mm-hmm. And the end of 2021, December 31st, 2021, I was sitting in the warehouse, and I was just like on crash out mode, bro. I was like, I can't do this shit anymore. And a random guy that I never even talked to in the warehouse, he's like, hey, bro, you want to go to the liquor store and get some beers? I'm like, hell yeah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I went with him to go get some beers, and we got 2 tall Modelos. I drank one in the car, and then I brought the other one inside the job, and I just had it on my forklift. I'm driving around like, fuck this shit. And the manager comes up to me. He's like, what's this?
Yeah.
I'm like, root beer. Then I just threw it in the trash. And he's like, come to the office. And then I just grabbed my shit and left. I didn't even say anything. So December 21st or 31st, New Year's Eve.
Yep.
I was like, fuck it.
This is it.
And then I started door dashing, and I would just take the camera out wherever I was door dashing, like take pictures and shit. And then it's crazy because I ran into one of my homies from college, and he was I was door dashing, and he was out in front of a barbershop, and I just stopped the car in the street, like, hey, what up, bro?
Yeah.
And I had started linking up with him in downtown LA, and I would just roll around with. He's a character. He would just like get into clubs and random shit. And I would just vlog his life, and we made maybe like 5 episodes of a vlog of him doing stuff. And from there, it got me to meet a few people. Someone asked me to shoot like an art gallery. I was just still trying to figure it out. And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, she saw that I was good at the camera stuff. And really, I was still in the middle of like, I was trying to do fucking wholesaling real estate, fucking random shit, bro. I'm doing everything to just, money was the only option, you know? Like, I need to make money. And she came home one day and like, she hears I'm on speaker and the guy's like, stop fucking calling me. I don't want to sell my house. Like, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Like, you're good at the camera, do this, and you could do other stuff later. So from that day, I started taking the camera stuff seriously. And randomly someone was like, can you shoot a commercial for me? I'm starting a company and I only have $5,000. And I'm like,
that's a lot.
I was like, oh shit, $5,000? I'm like, we can make it work.
Yeah.
You know? But I never shot anything before. So I basically wrote, produced, directed, edited, casted, location scouted. I did everything. And I just hired one of my homies to help me. We like rented gear. I bought some gear, and he just showed me the whole process of what is like shooting and what the gear was. Yeah. And then I took that and I was just like, oh yeah, I could do this for sure. Yeah. And it kind of just spiraled into meeting more people, getting out there. And then 2024, we moved out here to Denver, which it was 2023 was my first year taking photo, video stuff seriously. Yeah. And then moved out here to Denver, didn't have any friends, no connections. And then I was just going out of my way to meet people, really. And then that's how we linked up. And shit, it's just been happening ever since.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think there's something to that of just having no other options and just diving in, being like, all right, like it's do or die, sink or swim, jump into it. And yeah, that's crazy. And then, let's talk a little bit about how we met, because I think that's where we kind of like ended. We kind of touched on that a little bit. That's kind of where it is. But
so I was basically, bro, I was super introverted. Like, but starting a business, you can't really be introverted. You got to get yourself out there. So I was like, I was going really hard on just finding people in Denver, creators I thought did cool shit, and I'll just message people on Instagram like, hey, let's meet for coffee. And I don't even drink coffee. I get like a tea or some shit. And so I was at an art show. This is right after our daughter was born. And we're walking around at, it was a Evans School, art school, which is now a beer garden or some shit like that. But there was an art gallery in there, and we just randomly walked in. And the only artist, no shade to any of the other artists, I don't remember them, but the only art that we liked in there was Johnny Draco. And I didn't know who he was, but we get back home, and my wife remembered his name. We looked him up, and we're like, oh, he's black. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I just like scrolling through his page, saw he had a skateboard deck that I thought was cool, and I just messaged him like, hey, how much is it? And he was like, whatever the price was. And then I pulled up on him at his apartment, and then that's where you were there doing an interview with him already. And I was just, and then I kind of like stuck around for a second and just kind of watching.
Johnny Draco, shout out Johnny Draco, is how Keese and I met. And I'll kind of tell it from my perspective, and my history with Draco is I was big into the designer vinyl toy world, and it was kind of at a period where I was still working the production job, and we did a lot of video work. So my creative outlet was photo, because video started to become more like work. And so I was always just finding things to like keep the creative juices alive. And actually, I think I got into the street art world. Well, no, I think maybe it was around the same time, street art and the toy.
And toys,
But basically, I just started shooting these toys. I found out about them. I got this one. It was called a Blammo toy. It was like a leather. It was called a Rice Baby. I got it at a music festival. This dude. It was like $600, dude. And I was with this guy who was just loaded. He was my homie, and he was all fucked up one night on Molly. And I was like, bro, I saw this thing. I want you to get it for me. He's like, what are you talking about? What? I was trying to explain it to him. He's like, I don't know. I was like, bro, just give me your card. Don't worry about it. So he gives me his credit card. I go buy this fucking Rice Baby for like $600. And I woke up and I was like, damn, this thing's cool. And on the, like, it had like this little tail and it said Blammo Toys. And I'm like, damn, that's tight. So I look it up and then I'm like, I want more of these. Like, I want to figure out more. And they have a bunch of them, but they're all hella expensive. But yeah, that's like how I found out about designer toys. And the vinyl world, it's a little bit different than what I got, but I started getting into that, and there was like a bunch of groups on Facebook, and they had these things called waffles, like a web raffle or waffles, however you want to pronounce it. But I ended up like entering them. You could like, because they were expensive, like all the designer, because they're limited or made by an artist or whatever. And so I didn't have the money to just go buy them. So I would enter these waffles, web raffles, waffles.
Yeah.
And you would put in like, it would say like 10 spots for $10 to get $100 thing. And I ended up winning a couple of them because, you know, some were like 5 spots for $50 or whatever the amount was. But you could get into them for like a really low price. And then if you win, you get the whole thing. And so I won a couple of those and got some really cool ones. And then I was like, look, I'm gonna just take these out and take photos of them. So I started just like finding them really cool locations that they would be shot on, and ended up like diving into that world for a period of time, got about as big as you can in that world. And Johnny Draco was working for Kid Robot at the time as a designer, and he was Kid Robot was based in Boulder, and then they moved to Broomfield, but he was working with them as a designer. He did like packaging design, some toy design. He never got credit for a lot of the ones, which is kind of crazy. But I remember I met him at Bait, which is that shop that we went to. And they were doing like a Kid Robot meet and greet thing, and ended up just taking some photos there. And then through that, we connected. I went out to a couple different conventions in Sacramento and New York, and Johnny and Kid Robot were always there. And we just kind of developed a friendship through that. And then he started getting into painting murals and paintings on canvas. And I made a couple of videos with him. And then he kind of got out of the toy world for a while. And so he was working on building a new one. And that's what we were doing the interview for. And it was kind of just him talking about the design process. And through that, yeah, he's like, my homie is going to come through and pick up this skate deck. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like, yeah, he's in film. You should meet him. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, yeah, we like stopped the interview, we were like pretty much done with the interview. We're like towards the end. And he's like, all right, hold on. Keese is calling me. I'm going to go get him. So he brings you in. And then we met, and he was like, yeah, he does film, blah, 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 blah. And then just as like a random off the cuff, I was like, you got any questions you want to ask Johnny? And you actually like asked him a few questions and like sat there and was like asking like really good questions. And I was like, oh shit. Cause normally like people are just like, no. Or like at the end of the interview, it's like, you got anything else you want to say? They're like, no, I think that's it. But like you actually came in and did it. And I was like, oh shit. All right. Like that
I really didn't know him though. So
yeah,
I'm just like,
yeah.
What up? Who is this? Johnny? What's up with all this shit? And his apartment was tight as fuck. He had art everywhere. Yeah. So I'm just like,
yeah, so I was like, okay, that's pretty dope. And then, yeah, from there, we went and got coffee at Improper. And, yeah, I remember just, like, being like, damn, this dude's, like, because it was pretty quick after that. Like, I think it was, like, the next week we linked up. And then I kind of had a couple projects in the works. And I was it was a period of time where I was, like, super busy. And I was kind of, like, overwhelmed with, like, the amount of shoots I was doing, the edits I was doing, and not having enough people that like I could trust to go do the job or like get the shit done. And I remember just thinking like, okay, like he seems like he knows what's up and would be dope to like bring on set. And I think we worked on a couple different projects, nothing too crazy. We did the Denver Walls thing, and then we did
we did the
Colorado.
Yep.
Do Colorado right.
Yep.
Yeah, and I also remember on that one, like I handed you the whole FX6 rig, and I was just like, get some B-roll, dude. And you're like, okay.
That was actually my first time using FX6
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, which was kind of crazy. But yeah, through that, and then, yeah, it was kind of just like, you know, because I, had talked to a bunch of people, and it's always just like, kind of like what we were talking about last night. It's like, yeah, like, we should work, or we should link up. But like, no one was ever actually doing the shit. And then, yeah, I found out about you doing Film Friends, and I was like following you. I remember just seeing like, I was like, damn, this dude's active. Like, he's out there. And like, you were meeting people that like, you had built up a network so quickly. I was just like, holy shit, how the fuck does this dude know everyone already? He just got here. Like,
I was
what the
just
fuck?
pulling up, like, what's up?
And so, yeah, then came to the Film Friends thing at Green Spaces. I think that was my first one. And I actually remember walking into that too. And like, I think I knew that you were married, but I wasn't like 100% sure. And then it was you and Lee, and you were both setting up. And I remember like Lee was, moving around, setting shit up, doing this, doing that. And I was like kind of just hanging out. And I didn't realize that Lee was your wife. I thought she was just like someone helping the thing. And then afterwards, I remember thinking, I was like, damn, hopefully I made a good impression. I didn't realize it was your wife. And I was like, oh shit, I probably should have like introduced myself or like tried to talk to her a little bit more. But yeah, I just remember it and then realizing that that was your wife. And I was like, damn, these two are dope. Like making shit, doing the Film Friends thing. And at that point, business was booming. I was getting a lot of projects, and I knew I wanted to do something more. And I was heavily involved with Rhino and the street art scene and working with artists. And I was like, man, we really like need a spot for like productions. And I was renting out other studios like LSI and well, pretty much just LSI because I was doing all those other gigs. But I remember sitting there being like, looking at my finances for that year, and I was like, I just spent like 50 or 60K on studio rentals. And I was like, this is insane. And I hated always going down to LSI. They were like charging me for, no shade to LSI, but they were charging me for everything, bro. And I was just like, dude, this is crazy. And it's so far away, and we don't really have anything that's like accessible for up and coming creatives or full scale productions like right here in Denver, other than having to go down to LSI and pay a shitload of money. And so I was about to buy this warehouse on Brighton because I was like, I wanted it to be in Rhino. And it was like, I had this like 30-page pitch deck. Yeah. And I remember sending it to you. And I was trying to get it going, and I was kind of like, I had all this work coming in, and I was like, dude, it would be dope to have a spot to like do it instead of like working out of my basement. And like, where do I meet people? I remember like I was pitching this client, and I was like always having to meet him at coffee shops or having to meet him there, and like not having a space to do it. And then you were kind of bouncing around with Film Friends. And actually, hold on, let me rewind. So yeah, not having a place to meet and do stuff. And then I remember I was about to go sign the paperwork. Like I had gotten it all figured out, and the space was dope, but it was $3 million. And I was about to buy that shit. And I'm a very chill dude. Like I don't really get stressed out or overwhelmed. And the night before all the shit was about to go down, I couldn't sleep. I was stressing. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, like what am I about to do? Because I like taking risks. I like to just go for it. Yeah. And there, like I was saying, there's something to just jumping in and figuring it out. But this one was a little bit more out of my comfort zone of like, okay, I'm about to be on the hook for $3 million by myself and having to do production stuff. So I remember that morning I called the dude. I'm like, I can't do it, bro. I'm sorry. Like we got to call it off. I can't do it. And it happens all the time. Like deals fall through, whatever. But he was bummed. I was bummed. But I decided to like take a step back, focus more on the production stuff, and maybe do something like with a van, like a Sprinter van, doing like a mobile production, mobile thing that I could like pop. Oh, you need a fucking lens, or you need this? Like I'll come to you, drop it off, and then just have like the gear and shit. And I was about to get a van, and then that's when you came to me and you're like, dude, fucking, I can't find a spot for Film Friends. Like Green Spaces was good, but it wasn't perfect. Like there was events going on while you're doing Film Friends, and you're trying to like screen stuff. I remember I was there one of the nights. I couldn't come
There
because
was a fucking
celebration of life.
Yeah.
For my buddy Markham, Shitty Kitten, and yeah, it was just weird because I was like, this doesn't really work because we're over there like playing music. There's probably like 200-300 people in there, and then you're doing your thing in the back, and then you were doing stuff with Trust House, with Rhino, with Rob. And that was kind of then getting weird, and Rhino was starting to be, they were on the
they had a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, they had a lot of moving parts, and it was just a pain in the ass. And I remember you coming to me being like, bro, is there anywhere that you think we could use, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then I was reaching out to people, and I had a couple ideas, but then I just remember you be like, fuck it, I'm about to get my own spot. And I was like, right then, dude, like a light bulb went off, and I was like, bro, if you're serious, like I was about to do that shit. And the only reason was because I was about to do that shit by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you sent me the whole fucking slide deck.
And I was like, dude.
I was like, oh, this nigga's serious.
Yeah. And I was like, dude. Because I was like looking for someone. I knew I couldn't do it by myself. And I remember having a conversation with my uncle too. And he was like, why don't you just rent a spot and do a proof of concept first before you pay all this money to buy a space, and then you're left, and like maybe get a partner or some investors. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, that's probably a better idea. But I was really like, I wanted to buy a spot just because I had some bad experiences with renting places, and it just you putting all this time, money, effort into it, and then the owner decides to sell, and then the new people are like, get the fuck out. And so that's why I really wanted to buy it. And also it's an investment. But yeah, it was probably a smart thing not to do that. But yeah, then after we had that conversation and I showed you all the stuff and you're like, damn, all right. We were like soft looking, kind of sending places back and forth. And then we found out about triple nets.
Yeah, that changed the game.
Yeah, because we were like, all right, realistically, what could we spend? Like, what's our top end? Like, if we pool our resources and pool our money, like, how much do we really realistically want to spend per month? And I think we were like $10K max. So that's $5K each. And we started looking, and I'm like, dude, we could get a ballin' ass spot for $10K. Yeah. Holy shit. Like, what? And yeah, like we started reaching out to the people. And yeah, I remember the one conversation with a dude where we found out, and I sent him the whole thing. Like, I remember it was like this long email, and it literally outlined everything. Like what we were trying to do, how much we were trying to spend, this and that, this and that, this and that. And the dude sends me like some bunk ass response, like asking a question that it was like the first thing in my email. And I was like, is this guy not reading my shit? And we went on and on and on and on, about 5 emails. And he goes, yeah, this one is actually going to be 3 times the amount. And I was like, bro, why wouldn't you just say that in the initial email? I told you what our cap was. Yeah. It was like a $5,000 or $6,000 spot a month was what they advertised.
It's like 18 or
yeah.
something. And
then he's like, yeah, this one's going to be about all in about 18,000. I'm like, then why did it say 5 or 6? And he's like, well, the triple nets. And then I looked that up, and I still don't fully understand it. But
scam.
Yeah, I'm like, why couldn't you just put that in the thing? So we had to kind of like go back to the drawing board, rethink, and put that filter on there that says,
no triple nets.
Get rid of the triple nets. Yeah. And that list went from here to like here. Yeah. And we were like, fuck. And
this spot randomly popped up on the thing.
I think I was trying to think about that. I don't think my texts go back that far, but I was trying to figure out like because I think it was you that sent it to me like late, like one night, and I think I looked at it the next morning, and I remember being like, the photos were really bad, and I was just like,
it was just like an open space.
Yeah, and the photos were kind of dark, and I was just like, I don't know, dude. And I was like, well, it's not a triple net. Let's at least go look at it, because we didn't look at that many.
No, we didn't. We only came to this one.
Yeah.
Like we had a bunch of phone calls and shit, but then we talked to what's her girl name?
Amy.
Yeah, we talked to Amy, and she was like, yeah, come by.
Yeah.
And then she let us in, and then shit, that first day, it was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, we got in here. Yeah. I remember that, dude. We were like, okay. The photos did this place zero justice.
Yeah.
It was like all dark and dingy, and the dude before us had like the skylights all covered up with some janky.
I think they had just posted it too, so we're like maybe the first person to even hit them up about it.
Yep.
But it was looking crazy in there.
Yeah, there was like water on the floor. There was roaches running around, like
some rats.
Yep. Oh yeah, it was definitely a little rough around. Like this had like that janky ass puzzle piece mat flooring, and I remember being
There was no walls in here.
no walls. It was completely empty, but there was something about it though. Like immediately when we were in here, I had like a good feeling because we saw the exposed brick and those skylights, and I was just like, damn. And I remember like this whole back room, like these windows. I mean, it was really dirty back here, but I was like, this is like got character. It's got history. It's got the charm, and then it just had like this feeling. I don't know. I can't explain it, but yeah, it had a feeling in here. And then yeah, from there it was like a really quick, like we were like, oh yeah, we're interested. And she's like, okay, well we got some other showings, this and that, this and that. But they seemed super cool. Like Amy seemed super cool. I don't think we had met Dave yet.
Nah.
It was like a couple times because we came back a couple times.
Yeah, I think he came like near the end.
Yeah. We met him like pretty much like right before we were about to sign the shit. And yeah, we kind of went back and forth. We were like negotiating the terms.
Yeah, we're
like,
trying to figure out all that shit.
And I remember because I was like on a job like filming this mural and like trying to get like the legal to look over stuff, and all these lawyers wanted like $300.
A lot of money.
Yeah, $300 an hour to look over our contract, and I was like, I don't know. We got an inspection. We did all the things. And I remember Amy, like we were negotiating the contract and all this. And she's like, did you have your lawyer look this over? And I remember being like, yeah. She's like, I can tell. And I was like, that's funny because I just used ChatGPT. But I didn't want her to know that. So I was like, yeah, our lawyer looked it over. And I kept saying that. I was like, I'll have our lawyer look this over. And she was like impressed. So yeah, basically we negotiated the entire contract with ChatGPT. But really, it came down to we were going to be dealing with Dave, and he was kind of like a really old school, like
handshake type of dude.
I
think our biggest thing though, when getting a spot, was if every possible thing went wrong, how much would we be on the hook for? And so we're just like, if the worst of worst happens, we only had to pay this amount.
Yep.
And that was, I think we came to a number we were both comfortable with. Like if this shit just fucked over, and we were just like, all right, we'll pay this and be free and clear of this whole situation.
Yeah, we had an out, basically. And I think it was really like the HVAC, the roof, and like if the shit collapses.
Yeah.
If the shit collapses, we're good.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to. But really it was that, the AC was the big hang up, which we were going back and forth on because it's an old HVAC.
Yeah.
And in the inspection, I mean, there was stuff that's like, probably not that cool, but like at the end of the day, I mean, they were looking for every little thing. Like, and I was like, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal.
And we didn't have the triple net, so it was just like,
we were like, okay, like
we're just gonna make it work, and then
yeah. So it all happened really quickly. We got all that negotiated, and then I remember because I was like, I wanted to sign that shit. Like,
I was more like, hold on, let's fucking.
And I remember you saying we got to go into this willing to say no.
Yeah.
And that was like the second or third time we came in here. We were talking to Amy about it, and you were like, we got to go in there like ready to say no. And I was like, all right. But then I think we both were like, okay, we got to say yes to this because we're gonna make this work. And we. Even at the lease signing, you were like, we got to be willing, like, because we were negotiating still at that point. Like, everything was pretty much set, but, like, we were still hammering out the last little details.
Yeah.
And then, we met Amy over at the Ice House. And, she was super chill. And then it was kind of, like, very anticlimactic. She's like, just sign here, sign here.
All right, gave us the keys.
And then gave us the keys. And, because we were, like, she was more worried about the deposit or something. And I was like, all right, we got to get like that check sent over. And I remember because I was like, just got off of something or doing something. And I was like pulling money from here, pulling money from there. I was like, get into one spot. And then we gave her the check. And we got the keys. And I remember just coming over here just like so excited. And it was like the end of the day. She wanted to wait till Monday. And I was like, no, let's do it now. Let's do it now. Give us those damn keys. I want to get up in there.
Yeah.
And then, we came over here, and there was nothing in here.
It was empty.
Yeah. It was, I think it was you, me, and Haley. And we were sitting, like, right over here, and we, like, pulled a chair over or something.
Random ass chairs,
And we just sat here. We were like, oh, shit. And, that moment was crazy, just looking at it. And then I think you went out of town.
Yeah, I did. I was gone for, like, a week.
Yeah, and then you got back the 7th or something, or the 6th. And I remember we did 4th of July here, and I was just like hanging out. I was like I like wanted to like be in here like all the time.
Yeah.
And I remember, I like the next day I brought over like tools, little table, some chairs, just like random shit. And I remember the little tiny table way over there by the kitchen, and just started measuring shit and getting the layout, like figuring out the space. And then once you got back on the 7th, we started it. We started building the shit.
So how do you feel like it changed from the initial idea of what we had in building a studio?
I mean, it's kind of changed because originally, we knew we wanted to build like a space for people to be in, but like I envisioned it more of just like a turnkey, like rental.
Dry, yeah.
Yeah, like we just got the space, come and use it, and then maybe doing like some co-working up in the front, which we nixed pretty quickly, just because of the space itself. And like obviously there's a ton of other co-working spots that's their only thing, and they do it really well. And so for us to compete with that and try to do a production thing, it just wasn't working. Like it kind of works, but it's not set up for that. Like we don't have like a whole coffee station and like all the amenities that come with a nice co-working space. We were like, we need to get some tables and some chairs.
Yeah.
So I think that's really, it's morphed into more of like a community space, which I think is dope, but it's less of just like, okay, here's our rental space, come in and shoot, and then that's it. We're not doing anything else. It's just, we got a rental space. And it's kind of taken on a life of its own. But yeah, how do you think it has changed?
I don't know. I just feel like we are adapting to the whole thing. Like you said, we started as the co-working and production, but then we're just like, hold on, this co-working shit don't really make sense. And also, we wanted people to be in here. Like, we're paying for the space, and we're just like, how can we help support the community and then figure out how we could leverage our community to make money without extracting from them. So it was just like, yeah, I think just being malleable and then figuring out what works, what doesn't, what our real mission is for the space. And like, I don't know, I think it's just really changed from being another studio to this is where creatives get shit done. And this is where we can kind of be a part of building the ecosystem of creatives here in Denver to show like, hey, there's talent here. You could come here and shoot $1 million things here in Denver.
Nurture that talent. And yeah, I think that is one thing that Denver is kind of lacking. And we were kind of talking about this yesterday, but like there's a lot of dope talent here. And whether it's like traditional mediums, video, photo, production, whatever. There's a lot of dope, talented people here. But I think what we both noticed was we're losing a lot of that to LA and New York. Like I've had countless friends, which is great. Like I'm stoked for them to go out. I mean, they have, if you want to do the big shit, you got to do it there. But you can also do it here, but we need to like nurture that and have the spaces and the people, and also just like the conventional roles of like what is a PA, what is a AC, what is a second AD, what is a first AD, like what are all these roles, whereas everyone here is kind of just does all of it. And there's some film like people that do it, and there are some bigger production companies, but I think that's the problem that we face a lot, is that people don't really know what those roles are. Everyone's just kind of figuring it out by themselves, and it's very disjointed and it's kind of lame. Like I feel like a lot of like the actual film community is like kind of cheesy and lame, and it's just like a lot of older dudes or just like the same 5 people that are doing this stuff. And it's like, how do we get these younger people that are talented and have the skills, but they don't have the traditional learning like of college education of like, okay, this is what a C41 is, and this is what a half screen, whatever, all the terminology, like they don't know all of that. But like, how do we give those tools to them and then them apply it to their craft to be able to level up their productions. And then also like the business side of things. Like so many people, it was crazy because I don't really like consider myself like a businessman or like, you know, like an entrepreneur, like crazy. I'm just like, you know, I kind of just do stuff and I figure out what needs to get done and I do it. But like, it was wild how many people came out of the woodwork like asking me for like business advice or like, how do I get clients or like just normal, how do I send an invoice or how do I set up an LLC or this and that. I'm like, what? This is all like basic shit. But also, how do you not know this? And maybe it was just like me not thinking that I'm, you know, was doing that stuff. But like, I started to realize that people didn't have those tools. And so it's like the people don't know how to run the business. You're not gonna be successful if you don't know how to do a contract and protect yourself or price your work properly. Because if you're not pricing your shit the way it's supposed to, not only is it put you at a disadvantage, but it puts the entire industry here. Because then when I go to someone, I'm like, yeah, for this, it's gonna be this amount. And then I got Joe Schmo who doesn't know anything and doesn't know his worth is be like, I'll do it for $500 in a meal. And it's like, all right, well, that's not good because obviously they're going to go with you and save some money and I'm going to lose that job. So yeah, that was like kind of a big thing of like, we need to have those spaces to where we can bring everyone together and educate them. And that's kind of what we're doing now is like, all right, how do we program this shit? Like, how do we get the right people in here? How do we bring people together and give them the tools, the gear, the infrastructure, the community, connections to build up Denver as the next spot, which I think is coming. Like it's definitely on its way, but
I think it's something that people want.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are scared to put themselves out there in LA.
100%. Yeah.
Because, I mean, yesterday we were speaking on the panel and someone brought up that people feel like they outgrow Denver. In some ways, I think that is true. But I think Denver still is like an untapped market that people haven't been like watering. What was the whole thing? Perennials
roots,
versus perennial versus annual.
Yep.
So it's just like, all right, if this is a place that needs to be tended to, you can't just like come extract from it and then bounce.
Yeah,
because then it'll never grow.
You're stealing those nutrients too. Like you're stealing all those like those little things we got to build here. And also, that's what I love about this is like, we can be those people.
We could do anything, literally, because it's not really established. Like some people are doing it, but to me, there hasn't been a large scale movement of community behind creative here in Denver. And I'm a newbie to here, so like people could say whatever the fuck, but I'm just like, to me, it's just something that people want and just don't have the path to get it accomplished.
Yeah, well, it's really the more, and I've said this to you multiple times, but like the more and more I'm in these rooms, the more and more I'm involved with like different communities, organizations, even like, you know, neighborhoods and quasi-governmental rooms that I'm sitting in, I'm like, these are just normal people and they're doing it. And really, at the end of the day, it's up to us. Like we can be those people that do the things.
Because they're doing it as best as they know how, and they may not even know how to like form the stuff that we're forming. Because one, a lot of people are just old and kind of out of touch. But also, kind of what you're saying too is like a lot of these people, no offense, are kind of lame. They're not tapped into the culture of what's hip, what's the next thing up, and they just they have their systems. That's how they make money and survive. And they're like, let's just do more of the same.
That. Yeah.
And I feel like we're trying to shake it up a little bit. It's like, all right, this can be done a different way, and there's a way that all of us can win.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think that's like the draw to me is that like because it's not developed yet, we have the opportunity to form it into the way that we want. So it's like a blank canvas, a blank slate for us basically to like say, this is how we think the shit should be done. Like we want the cool shit. We want everyone to come up and we want the right people to come up. We want to not take out the old guard, but we want to, shake it up a little bit and be like, look, times are changing. Even LA, like with all the protests and the strikes and everything that's going on in LA and all the money and the way that the models are changing, it's like we're at this like turning point of Like the whole industry is changing.
And we could be at the forefront of all of this shit.
Yeah, and we have an opportunity where it's like we could be the Cowboys of the, like, that's what Colorado is about. Denver is about. Like, this is the Wild West essentially. And yeah, Denver is the next up. It's a relatively new city. I mean, comparatively speaking. And yeah, I think we're on the verge of it. There's a couple other places like Utah's trying to get it popping. Texas is trying to get it popping. Atlanta's doing it, but also they're kind of, I was reading some stuff about that, about how they kind of got shook down a little bit with their, because the whole thing is they spent all this money on all those studios and sound stages and building the infrastructure so that companies would come there and do it, but they're doing exactly what they didn't want to happen, is them coming there and then leaving and it's not contributing back. So how can we learn from what Atlanta did, and then how can we piggyback off of like what Utah and Texas wants to do to like put us, basically create that whole little string of cities to where it's LA, whatever Utah's got, I don't know about them, but Denver, maybe Texas, which they're doing some cool shit, Atlanta, New York. And then we got different zones and we all do different things, but keeping people here and making it the next stop for people to be filming, producing, and building that infrastructure of like, yeah, Denver's a dope spot to come film your next movie or your next production or whatever it is.
Literally do anything creative.
Yep.
I mean, we're almost a year into this whole thing. What do you feel like is the biggest reality check? You're like, oh shit.
How hard this shit is. It's hard, bro. Like we were talking, like last night was really, actually it was really dope. And I love that lady's analogy about the annuals and perennials and, you know, watering your garden. But yeah, it's been a lot harder than I thought it would be. Like, we know what needs to get done. We have all these ideas. We have all these things that we want to do, but like, it's a lot harder to do all of that. Like, even just doing this podcast, like we've been talking about this for,
it's been
so long. It's like, all right, cool. Like, and we've tried a couple times, but, you know, it's always just like so much stuff to do and not enough time or not enough capacity, because we're also both running our own production companies, trying to edit, trying to shoot, trying to have a actual life outside of work and this, which is basically, this has become our life. But yeah, that's been the hardest thing, I think, is just like, damn, the reality check is like, this is actually hard to do all of this shit. And looking back on what I was talking about earlier is like, dude, thank God I didn't try to do this shit myself. I can't even imagine, bro. It would be impossible.
Yeah, there was a few people speaking about doing it themselves and how difficult it is. And I don't know, I just feel blessed that we could do this shit together. And it's not like, and we both have different skill sets. Like, some of our stuff overlaps, but like, you have a unique skill set and I have a unique skill set, and it kind of just is symbiotic. Like, we can work off of each other, and if I'm like lacking on this part, you can pick it up, and if you're lacking on another part, I can pick it up. So it's just like, I don't know. And yeah, it has been tough.
Yeah.
Fun also, but it's just like, I think for me, the part that surprised me the most is that, maybe not surprised me the most, I'll just say the part that just intrigues me the most is that no one cares as much as we would care.
No.
Like, to everyone else, this is just like,
place to hang out, place to shoot.
Yeah. But I don't know. For some reason, I didn't think it would be like that. I don't know why, but I'm just like, damn, everything falls on us. And that's kind of the story of entrepreneurship. Like, there's no one else to fucking put blame on or rely on. If something doesn't get done, it's just like, all right, we got to be the ones to do it. And we can't expect
anyone else to do it. Luckily, we do have a good, solid set of people that if we do need something and we're not able to,
we can ask.
Yeah. Shout out Jason, Owen, Paula, Matt Taro at the beginning. Ryan Arments has been doing a lot. All our interns, Meron, Kelsey, Kathy, Timmy. Who else? Clary. Sid. Yep. Yeah, we got a good community, but yeah, it ultimately,
no one will care as much as we care.
Yeah.
And like the effort, like no one's gonna put in as much effort. Like I don't know. It's just not that I was expecting otherwise. It's just like an interesting observation. It's just like, damn, we really got to do all this shit.
All of it.
A fucking piece of trash gets left on the floor. People will walk past that shit every day.
That blew my mind. I'm like, dude, the amount, like, I remember that. Like, there was one night I was like, I kept walking past this like pile of trash or this thing on the ground, and I'm like, literally no one is gonna, like, and I've seen everybody do it, like walking, or even just like the paper towels are out and
no one will fill them up.
The trash is full and like
no one will take it out.
No one will do that. I'm like, who raised you guys? Like, do you know?
But like it's not their thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we can't expect other people to fucking especially they're not getting paid, obviously. But
and I get it, but I'm just like, that blew my mind. I'm like,
although people are in here for free, but
yeah, which is cool, but yeah, I think we're laying that down.
Do you think we've made any big mistakes?
I don't think there's been a big mistake. I don't think so. I mean,
I would say maybe really early is spending money in places that were not absolute necessity.
Like what?
Let me think of things. Like
Random shit,
bro. Like I feel like there's a lot of things that don't even get the use out of that we probably bought, or shit that, I think we could have probably cut back on. Just going back in perspective, like, all right, if we were to start this over again, or if someone was asking me for advice on what to do if they're starting a studio, it's like, all right, I think just being super mindful on what you spend on and when you spend on it. Because I think our biggest thing is cash flow. It's like, all right, we need to make sure we could pay the fucking rent every month and like utility bills. And there's been a time where we missed the bill and had to pay a fee. And it's just like, oh shit, let's
Yeah. I don't know. Cause I'm just trying to think of like I'm even just looking back at the beginning. I mean, obviously there was like random shit that I bought at Home Depot that we didn't really like absolutely need, or like bought extra wood, but really, well, now that we got the upstairs, I'm like, there's some stuff like we probably should have put that mini split out in the main area, but I don't think that like we really frivolously spent. Like we got a lot of it. Well, also we've coined ourselves the Boneyard because we got a lot of random shit.
Yeah.
I guess that may be one of the mistakes is just kind of like
collecting.
Yeah, collecting shit, and not that it was like really that detrimental to us, but like some of the relationships that we have kind of had and have fizzled out. I won't name them exactly, but just some of those like early things of like letting people in or like letting them or holding them too close to our chest. And like, I'm really trying to be more intentional about like keeping our shit to ourselves.
I was going to say that might be like a big mistake could be the word, but like mixing friendship with business.
Yeah.
I think that would be a big one. It's like, all right, our friends could be friends, but they don't need to be on the ins and outs of what we got going on, where money's going, if we owe some money, you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't.
And like to me, I think like there's something to it. Like one, it's like I learned this early on in my relationship as well, is that like I don't need to make that anyone else's business. I don't want to talk any smack, even if it's to my good friends. Like I don't want to talk any smack or like vent anything, any of my frustrations, because it shines that person in a negative light. And not even necessarily just Haley, my wife, but just friendships. Like I don't like to talk shit about people, because then it changes that person's view on the other person that you're talking shit about. And then if that issue is resolved, then, it's like when you're in a fight with your girl and then you go talk shit or like vent to somebody, and then you're like, I'm breaking up, blah, 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 blah. But then you end up getting back together. And it's like, all right, now they knew all that shit, when in reality, like, don't say anything until, like, if you're actually going to break up, then you can tell people that. But when you start telling your business to other people, it changes the view on them. So it's like kind of the same.
And people don't fucking know how to shut up.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers will
Yeah.
blab to someone else.
No matter what, how secretive you want it to be, if you tell someone, it's going to get out.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, I mean, it's not that bad. And I don't think that like we've really done too much, but like also what I was kind of getting at too is like, I'm not afraid to tell people that, yeah, we're not making money right now. But it's also not like I'm bitching to them, but it's like putting it out there in the world, because when I tell people that, like, how can I help? Like, what can we do to do this? And I'm like, look, just tell people, or rent space, or, you know, this and that. But
see, I'm down to tell people that because I want them to understand that
yeah,
we ain't making money, and like whoever is just using the space for whatever reasons, and especially if it's free or discounted, it's like, hey, we're paying for you to be here.
yeah.
And it's just like kind of my way of saying respect that shit.
100%. Yeah.
Cause like, yeah, we're not, obviously if we're fucking rich as shit and like this is super, all right, go ahead, bro. I don't care.
We had millions of dollars.
Yeah, this is cool. But it's like this is like a
we're
life
working our
investment.
ass off to pay for this shit. And we signed up for it.
For sure.
But at the same time, that goes back to like when you're walking past, that's what blew my mind. I'm like, you're walking past a pile of trash, like pick that shit up. Like this is a community thing. So
Or just leaving shit.
yeah,
everywhere.
I think just, you know, moving forward, I think it's just how we position ourselves, how we represent ourselves, how we show up. And I mean, there's a time and place for like having fun and talking shit, whatever.
Oh, another big mistake. Saying, when I say big ass, you say titties.
Nah,
Out the
that
front
shit's
on a megaphone. That was a mistake on my end.
Yeah,
I was
that
just fucking turned up, lit that we was in
that
here.
was awesome, dude. You're like, we can't be doing that. You corrected yourself.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I'm like,
we
hold
can't
on,
be doing
bro.
that shit.
I think to make it concise, but a big mistake is knowing or recognizing or not recognizing that we are in public positions now and then not acting like it.
Yep.
So it's like, obviously fun is important, but like I kind of brought this up. Like if fucking Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, was outside fucking like heckling people and shit, then it would be a big thing. So it's just like, all right, we got to be mindful that we're not just.
We got eyes on us.
Yes.
And we are, whether we like it or not, and I think that's one thing I didn't really realize doing this is like, we're kind of like community figures now. Like we're kind of at that point where it's like, oh yeah, people are watching us, like, and seeing what we're doing and either hating behind our backs or talking shit or seeing us and saying,
Which
wow,
some people have done already.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. But, and that's fine. You know, it means we're doing something right. But yeah, like we are those people and like we gotta come across as that. And even as funny as that was, because we're both just like, like I'm a fucking street rat, you know? Like I think that shit's hilarious. Like, but yeah, that was I think a turning point for both of us of like, oh yeah, like we do have eyes on us and we do need to like, if we're gonna take this seriously and do this and like build this up, like we gotta be those role models, we gotta be those leaders and step up to the plate and like show people that like you can have fun and you can do the shit, but also this is serious business and we're trying to build something here. But I think that yeah, the megaphone is amazing story, dude.
Oh man.
I mean, we were just viling out, dude, and yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But at that time, I don't think our logo was even on the door, so no one even knew who we were.
Yeah. So how about future? What does the future look like? What do you think?
I think future, I mean, in that proposal I sent you at the very beginning, and I don't really, like, I'm not a big, like, journaler or, like, I'll set, like, small goals or, like, one big goal that's kind of, like, I feel like is attainable, but it was actually really nice, and I have been doing this more often now, is, like, setting those goals. But I remember I did, like, in 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30 years, like, what are those milestones? And I remember when I was setting the one for, like, 20 or 30 years, it was like, all right, I want, and at the time it was called Blank Slate. And I was like, I want a blank slate to be making over $100 million annually and one on each continent. And maybe that's a little out there, but it's good to have those, crazy.
I think that's where we also get along is that me and you both have like grand schemes for what we want our life to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, that's too far fetched. But I'm like, fuck that. I'm about to be on a mega yacht. Or
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna have a private jet. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's how we've both gotten to where we are today. Is just like, fuck it. If I could think about that shit, it could happen.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, I mean, that's kind of what I was saying is like every goal that I've and I started to realize that like every goal that I set, I'm like, oh, actually, I can get there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start thinking crazy and big and like, why can't it be us? And again, it's like I see these people in these rooms. I'm like, I'm just, I'm the same. They're the same type of, we're all just people. It's up to us to do the shit. So yeah, it's like setting the goals. But realistically, for the future, I think.
Let's say if we have this podcast next year.
Yeah.
What do you feel like?
By this time next year, which, will be our 2-year mark, I think that I would love it if we were consistently at least making our overhead. And this is like just like a realistic, like this is something that I think we can get to. And we have 5 different partnerships with either gear brands or companies, whatever it is. But I see us at a point where we're stable and we are continuing on the mission of like, we'll be on the 4th residency if we keep doing the 6-month thing. And that is just like, this space is booked every single day. There's something happening in here every single day. And we're fully out of debt. We're making money, or at least covering our overhead. And we have followed through with some of the things that we said we're going to do. Podcasting, YouTube, social media, and Patreon. And we have like a nice following. And that's just like a realistic, like, I think we can get there. I mean, I think we can get there probably sooner than this time next year. But yeah, future-wise, I see like before 5 years, we have this shit fully popping and looking to expand. Like, hopefully by this time next year, we're like, all right.
We could get some.
Yeah, we can get that one, or whatever. I mean, we're already moving up. We got the upstairs office, but hopefully we got some money in the bank by that point and we've paid off all the shit and we're not coming out of pocket anymore. And I think that's extremely realistic and hopefully that happens sooner, which I think it will. But yeah, that's at least like the realistic goal.
Shit, me. I mean, I could agree with that this time next year. I'm just thinking like, all right, maybe I'll go a little further. Just, okay, our residency program produces like 100 millionaires. And then they could look back as alumni and be like, I started at the department. You know what I mean? They gave me a chance and look what I did with it.
So goals for this time next year.
This time next year. I'm going to go even further. I'm going to say maybe not this time next year, but like this time in 2 years. We produce, all right, in 2 years, I say we produce at least 1 millionaire from the residency program. Something is really popping. I just see this shit exploding once people start hearing about our mission and what we're doing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like there's not that many people that's putting their money where their mouth is. So it's just like, I don't see why not us.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
But at least one, I'm going 2 years, at least one residency millionaire. I say that we buy the building.
That's big.
And then I say we are looking to get in another city, which I feel like New York could be our next destination.
Yeah.
So those are my 3.
Yeah.
One residency millionaire. Fucking, we buy this building here. and maybe we start leasing another building.
Yeah.
And then we are in the process of looking to be in another city.
Yeah, expansion.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's possible.
Hell yeah.
100%. I mean, I think making 2 millionaires would be nice.
I feel like we
Yeah.
I already told you I'm trying to be a millionaire next year.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I'm trying to be a millionaire tomorrow, dude.
I mean,
Where's all the people that hire us for your next project?
we got some shit, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that once it's just awareness. Once people see what we doing, what we got going on,
Yep.
who we are, it's inevitable to me.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like, it's been really hard to showcase and tell the story because there's like the brand, like there's the department as its own brand, but then there's like us and our story and how the shit, like what we really got going on and what we're trying to build. Like it's bigger than the department, it's bigger than us. It's like we're trying to do a lot more. So yeah, getting the word out there is priority number one of like, we're still like, even my homegirl came in the other day and she's like, I knew you were doing something, but I didn't really know. And like, I haven't been in here. I'm like, yeah, like come check it out. Like we got the shit. And every single day there's someone that's like, oh, I didn't even know you were doing that. And it's like, what? Okay, well, I mean, yeah, like social media is crazy, but yeah, just we're trying to spread the word. And I think that we got to keep up with this, the podcasting.
And just making content about what's happening in here.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that we did this is our third try doing the podcast.
Yeah, something like that.
And now we're getting it going. I think this one will be good.
Y'all tell us what y'all think. Does this look good? Yeah, I mean, shit. Pursuits Podcast, episode 1.
Yep.
We'll start getting the residents in here and other creatives in Denver to come sit down and chat. And yeah, I feel like this is a good start to our content creation journey.
Yeah.
Obviously, me and you are not content creators, but also we spoke about this on the panel. Or you said this. You said digital is where you form connections, but then in person is where you build relationships.
Yep.
So we allow people to, get an idea of who we are, what we do, and then that's when we reel them in, come to the space, get to really know who we are, and make those real relationships where they last.
Yep. Yeah, so connect with us online and then come here and be our friend.
Peace.
All right.
Cut.
That's a cut.